Hi, and welcome to question one of the 2024 paper one of the Leaving Cert Ordinary Level Maths. So question one is tax kind of percentages. So let's read in. Part A says a farmer buys a new machine for €30,000. It depreciates, so decreases in value by 20% each year. Find the value of the machine after 1 year. I can think of two different strategies here, but the most common one, or at least to get the attempt, would be to find out what is 20% of 30,000. Now, using the calculator, which I should have open, that's 30,000 multiplied by 20. Now, the percent button in the calculator is very handy, is equal to 6,000. Okay, so it went down by 6,000, and then just do the calculation. 30,000 take away 6,000 leaves us with 24,000. And that should be our answer. So it's pretty straightforward. Now, the alternative method would be to use the depreciation formula, okay, which is in the maths tables. And then our formula has four unknowns, okay. As long as we know three of those four things, we can use it to find the missing thing. So we don't know what the final value is. That's what we're looking for. But we do know the starting point, we do know the interest rate, and we do know the time of 1 year. So you can plug the numbers in, okay, use the calculator. Now it's always worth remembering that 20% can be expressed as 20 over 100, or it can be expressed as 0.2. Okay, if you divide 100 into 20, or if you do it like this, you'd end up with cancel the zeros, be 1/5. 5 into 1 goes 0.2 in decimal. So there's different ways of getting there. But ultimately it'll give you the same answer. Okay. So now then it says hence or otherwise find the value of the machine after 2 years. So if you want to keep going with the strategy we employed first, I'd need to find what's 20% of 24,000, which is a slightly different calculation. I might just backspace if I can. So 24,000. Okay, that's 4,800. And then take that away from the 24,000. It should be, and I should check the calculator, it'll be 19.2. I will check the calculator because I know what I'm like. 24,000 take away. Okay, so that's the right answer. That's that. So I could have, with the other strategy, just use the same formula, except this time t is equal to 2. Now I don't actually reflect that in the notes. I have to change that. There should be a 2. So I'm looking for the final price. I have the initial is 20% and it's 2 years. So I plug that into the formula just like before. There's only one unknown, put it to the calculator, and I got 19,200. So the formula is handy, okay, but that question could have been done in the more straightforward fashion. So it's question 1A, part 1 and 2. Okay, I don't actually know the marks yet because I'm marking this before the marking schemes are out. But part B says a farmer bought some livestock for 4,716, including VAT. The cost of the livestock was 4,500, excluding VAT. Okay, so this 4,716 is equal to 4,500 plus VAT. Okay, so that's maybe a correct relevant step. It says calculate the percentage VAT rate used. Okay, so the VAT could be described by taking those two numbers away. So 4,716 take away 4,500. That should be 216. So the VAT paid was 216. Now percentage VAT would be the difference over the original. So 216 over the original, which was 4,500, multiplied by 100 to get VAT, to get percentage. Okay, so that calculation would be 216 over 4,500 multiplied by 100. That gives me, okay, VAT is equal to 4.8%. Now, the only reason that's giving me pause is the VAT rate on goods is normally 23% in Ireland. But again, there's different rates for different things, so maybe that's what's happening here. I just double check the answer I have here. So unless I've done this wrong, here I've kind of used a formula. The percentage VAT is equal to the sales price, take away the cost. That was the 216, all divided by the cost price. And then to get anything into percentage, you multiply by 100. And then did the exact same thing, just followed down that strategy and got to my percentage. So in a question like this, if you're not sure, like, do something. Okay, it's very important to read the question multiple times, make sure you're answering what's being asked, which is an absolute flaw of mine. Now, this says here for part C, the farmer also bought land. 1 year later, its value had increased by 12.5% and was now 52,875. Find the value of the land when the farmer bought it. Now we can phrase this, let's hope I do a decent job of it. So the new price, which we know, is equal to the old price, okay, times, now here's where it gets tricky, times 100%, it will include the old price, times 12.5% will include the original. So the only thing we don't know here, I'm going to call that X. So the new price is 52,875 is equal to X times 100 times 12.5 is times 112.5%. Now, this 112.5% can be moved. It's being multiplied on the right, or you could just divide both sides by 112.5%. If you do it on the right, it'll cancel. If you do it on the right to be correct algebraically, we must do it on the other side as well. So the consequence of that is that these two will cancel. You're left with X is equal to this calculation. Now that looks weird, but the calculator can handle it. So it's 52,875 divided by 112.5%. Okay, simply X is equal to 47,000, which is a lower number. Okay, seems legit. Let me just check the answer I have here. Yeah, same answer. So in the notes, I kind of did a similar way. So the value of the land went up by 12%. So you multiply by 12%. Okay. But I want to include the original in the answer. I could just find out what it went up by. Actually, I couldn't. Maybe that probably wouldn't work out. But I want to include the original price, so multiply by the 100. And then, in total, multiplying by 112%. The amount and the extra. And then just follow through the algebra. Okay, in this one here, I'm multiplying on the left by the 112.5%. When it goes across to the far side, it'll do the opposite operation, which is division. Okay, so it divides into everything on the far side, and then the calculator did the business and showed me the answer. So I think that's the end of question 1. So as always, if you want to copy the notes I'm working off, send me an email at shanetroy@gmail.com. Like and subscribe to get access to more playlists, and see you on question 2.